The Mod of Redemption is a mod in beta that has been recommended to me more than any other Terraria mod. So we're going to see what it has in store, and I must admit, I quite like what I see. The first new thing I run into is a tree bug, and it's kind of funny having this be the first thing I encounter, but at the same time, a mod that takes the time to add passive mobs like this has clearly had a lot of effort put into it. Since there was a cave next door, I figured I'd head on down and see what loot there was to be had. There were a few regular wooden chests and ore, but nothing special, so I did what I usually do when playing a new mod, and that was exploring the surface to see if there was something new and interesting. I made a quick stop at some living trees and headed into another cave that was both a jungle and regular biome, which is a nice way of sneaking into the jungle early game. Even so, I didn't get far, and the treasure was just regular stuff. Night fell, so I slapped some houses together and went back underground to continue exploring, scratching my head because I was sure this mod had a lot of content, but I haven't really encountered much yet. Well, time for that to change. While underground, I was informed that a portal rumbles, and I followed its prompt to check the map. Somewhere on the surface, there was a question mark. I hop, skip, and jump away, and now we're getting somewhere. Chicken? Can I kill it? Yes, I can. There's an NPC here selling several forest-themed items. Nothing I can afford and nothing particularly interesting, but it's nice that he exists since the living tree I found didn't have a fledgling staff. And on the other side of this lake, I see a portal. Huh. Oh, what? Oh, I'm just Huh? Hello? What? This guy is apparently searching for his friend, and since I have no idea where his friend is or what's going on here, he yeets on back into the portal. But when he did that, he dropped something interesting. Putting this in your hand will point to an ancient structure. Oh, all right. I am so down for this. Okay. That arrow that appeared apparently points to some structure, and that has me super excited. But before following the arrow's direction, I explored the rest of the shrine and found this cave where I figured breaking the dirt-looking thing would be a good idea. What if I break this? Aha! I found someone! Oh goody, he sells dirt and mud. Wow, such a useful NPC. When I returned home to ready my treasure hunt, I spotted something in my inventory I didn't recognize. It looks like a boss summon, and sure enough, it is a boss summon. I can still do it, I can still do it. I'm confident in this. I can. Nope, back away. No, I found the boss! All right, we're going straight down. I'm finding this, whatever it is, I'm finding it. And so the epic treasure hunt begins, and I find the thing in a minute flat. I lost my poor Mew. There's a shiny thing. There's a treasure chest with a mage accessory. It creates a blue pulsing, so if you see that, it's from this thing. The gold can be mined, but it's not gold, it's antique doral. There's an accursed gem on a pedestal, so that's promising. We all love a good curse. There's also another chest with a mage weapon that is super awesome. If I hit an enemy with it, the enemy would be bound, making them immobile and incapable of attacking. So, easy target, and I love it. The attack is hard to land though, and takes a couple of seconds to use, so it's not overpowered, but it is a great utility weapon for early game. Most interesting of all, the enemies have a different way of attacking. Oh, that's like a specific attack. Okay. Ouch. Oh, ouch. Ow, 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 ouch. Retreat! That's enough adventure underground, I think. I head to space and am greeted with a massive surprise when the first island I find is this stunning temple that looks like a golden portal frame. I couldn't interact with anything, so I guess we'll get to that another time, but it looks sick. The rest of the potion got me nothing, but one more sky island with a celestial magnet, and that's quite unfortunate. But at home, I quickly set up magic storage. Some people point out that I have cheat sheet active during these runs, and that's true. It's there in the events of game-breaking bugs in these mods, which I have run into in the past, but also to set out things like magic storage so I don't have to worry about spending time organizing, and it's easier to find modded recipes this way. It helps me better showcase what the mod has available, and that's the real point of these runs. To do a half-blind run so as to give my genuine experience, but I also want to make sure I don't miss too many things. Speaking of which, I spotted a new recipe in the storage system called the Chalice of Alignment, and I used it. What? Do you wish for an explanation of alignment? What the heck? There's good and evil alignment in this? Turns out you can be evil or good in this mod. There are quests and who knows what else. Honestly, not too much is explained with this, just that there are different alignments and a few notes on what each alignment might mean for me in the future. I'm honestly quite confused, but I assume there'll be more to explain it later. Someone from chat said I should check the portal again, so I did. Mined a workbench and a shrine beside the portal and got a scroll. I don't think I would have ever found that if it hadn't been pointed out to me, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't usually like when something is unclear like that, especially since the scroll is actually a boss summon. Maybe it's not a necessary boss summon, but it wouldn't have occurred to me to mine the workbench next to the portal. There was a little sprite indicating something on it, but for all I knew, it was just a decoration. A little ways away, there was this cool lab-looking thing. This is going to turn out very well, I can feel it. Alright, I can't break into this place. I can't break in, so I guess we'll return to that later in progression, I don't know when. Speaking of, I still have made next to no progression, so I spent a bit of time on the ground gathering resources. I crafted a pretty good early game modded sword, and when reading its description, it said there was a chance it could chop off the head of a humanoid enemy, and that just sounds awesome. I sure hope that happens at some point, it'd be so cool. A little ways below the treasure hunt structure, there was another section with a few more treasure chests. One had a grappling hook that is legitimately the worst grapple ever, but it is better than nothing. I just already had a regular hook. Another chest had a boss summon, and this thing called a crux card that mentions a bunch of stuff to do with spirits, and I got no idea what it means by that. I had explored just about everything in the regular cave, so the jungle one was the only other place that made sense to explore. There wasn't anything in particular that happened there. I just continued to gather resources and life crystals, and by the time I returned home, it was just about the end of daytime. Now that boss I had summoned earlier is a pre-king slime, or maybe a boss right after him or something in progression, but what difference does that realistically make? He's super early game and can only be summoned during day, so I built a quick and dirty arena and summoned Thorn, Bane of the Forest. Being around King Slime, the boss isn't the most complicated thing you've ever seen. His attacks would seem to be on a randomizer as well, but each of them are reasonably well telegraphed. There's one attack where he uses claws on your position, but a glowing projectile is shot at you before the claws attack, making them easy enough to dodge. He will shoot thorns in the cardinal directions. I'm not sure how else to describe this pattern. He has a vine attack that moves in a fan pattern. With another move, he spawns what looks like thorn traps on the ground, but I never got hit by them, so I have no idea exactly what they do. Finally, he'll shoot several thorns in one general direction. All the while, he teleports in between each attack, and during second phase, he spawns this thorn-looking shield that spins around him, and I'm still not sure what it does. He also moves faster during the second phase. Overall, it was a pretty good fight, and well balanced for my stage and progression. Though I must say, when playing melee, and maybe more specifically with the Blade of Grass, the telegraphs were far more difficult to read. The particle effects from my blade and the telegraphs were very similar in color, and so my choice in weapon might not have been the best for this battle. It was an even worse choice because there are typings in this mod, meaning this is a grass type boss and I'm using a grass type weapon, and thus my damage against him was reduced slightly. The boss dropped a good bow and another mage accessory, but I still don't have any good mage weapons. At this point, my eyes drifted to the scroll from earlier. Looks like another boss summon, so I tried it. The pale bat imp spawns and is immediately slain by this cleric who says, "I have sinned or something for spawning the imp," demands I repent, and informs me he will smacketh thine buttocks with the hand of judgment. I am getting smited in the buttocks. I tried to win, but I'm not ready for him, so we'll get back to him later. And by that, I mean right now. All I wanted was some more health, and so I explored the jungle a bit until I was at full, or well, I guess near full health. While down there, I did find a small structure with a spider statue trap. Oh, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? So I guess we'll return to that boss who has threatened to smacketh thine buttocks. He's also called the Pale Bat Imp, or at least that's what it says. Yeah, this guy isn't an imp. Let's talk this boss. His moves also appear to be on a randomizer, so I guess I'll just list them. He has one where he casts light beams from heaven, and these can do crazy damage if you get caught in them, but they are also quite easy to dodge. Sometimes he would shoot projectiles while doing this, and sometimes not. I couldn't really find any kind of consistency with it, which is weird. One attack blocked you in with light beams while he summons swords that spin around. All you had to do is jump between the swords, but it was actually hard to do. His holy book, however, you really do have to look out for. Oh, what? Oh! Wait, how do you dodge this? I can't run faster than that! When that finished, he was down on the ground, and the only way to hit him is either shooting between the shields or attacking with true melee. This is actually really creative. It's free hits, but if you attack with a ranged weapon, then you'll hit yourself. This even includes projectiles shot by my blade of grass. There's another move where he shoots light spears in a fan formation. That is sort of everything, but the next time he used his holy book, it did something totally different than the first time. This beam is terrifying and does massive damage, but it actually actively creates a way to avoid it. These platforms will appear above the laser as it moves, and I presume if you platform a little bit, you'll be fine, but I was way too slow on catching on to that fact. The holy book did a different attack every time I saw it, so I have no idea how many variations it's got, but I love how he is consistent across the board with one wild card move. It's cool. Now this boss doesn't just die when you beat him. First, you get a little cutscene with text while he's on 10 health. He mentions something about sparing his life, and I'm curious. If I attack him now, will I kill him? If I don't, would I spare him? Does this impact my alignment? I waited and watched to see what would happen. Oh, he just explodes. Okay, I was going to let him live. Well, that was weird, but this mod is messing with my head. I've never actually been hesitant about fighting an enemy before in Terraria, but now I'm double guessing myself as to when I should kill or hold back. Another event that did this was the Raveyard that spawned soon after. Wait, what? Raveyard? Raveyard? What is happening right now? This is absolutely awesome. There were more skeletons on the other side of the mountain, and I was going to show mercy until they decided to attack me, so I threw Hollowed Hand Grenade the priest dropped earlier on, which I believe is extra effective against skeletons. Also, the shield spinning around me reflects projectiles and is dropped from the priest as well. I killed the Eye of Cthulhu while all this was going on, but all the while I made sure never to kill a skeleton that had a trumpet or was dancing. I only attacked the ones that were hostile to me until the party ended. Skeletons got bored and went home. Okay. I am really confused as to how this event works. With the rave being done, we've hit that point in progression where we can hit a lot more bosses. Being able to merge my accessories would be quite helpful for accomplishing that, so I destroyed a Crimson Heart to create that opportunity for the Goblin Army. I also have so very little vertical movement. The easiest way I could think of for bettering my hops was finding a shiny red balloon, and after exploring most of the skies, I was concerned my world hadn't spawned with a single one of those shiny red balloons, but thankfully, the very last one I found at the very edge of the world had what I was looking for, which means it's boss time. Except shrieks are echoing through the night. Shrieks echo through the night? What the heck does that mean? Okay, now I'm going to stand here. I did wait a bit for the boss to spawn and then got bored waiting and just went ahead and summoned the boss myself. This is the Keeper. Hello, how you doing? And then, you know that natural spawn? Well, it naturally spawned. Oh, that's not está bien. Ouch. Okay, there, I think I see it now. Oh, that one's still going at me? That's not nice. That went quite poorly, and I actually didn't realize until afterwards that the boss had spawned a second time. During the fight, I figured she summoned a clone of herself, and I was just screwed. I also had a problem with not having Hermes boots or any kind of speedy boots at all, so time to go get some of those. There's not much of a reason actually in exploring a spider cave. There's not really any. It doesn't really connect to caves. They're usually their own separate thing. Oh, never mind. Oh! Overly confident, I summoned the Keeper again. Let's talk this boss. She has a random pattern, which a lot of bosses have in mods, and I guess all of them in this one have as well at this point. The Keeper attacks with a blast of sights, will dash in a straight line, shoot sparkly purple things that bounce at least once, and worst of all, she had what I guess I'll call soul vomit, because what else could this possibly be? In second form, she'll also shoot purple skulls, but it really isn't that much of a thing, you know, in the way. The whole fight, I was being hit constantly and still managed to somehow pull out a victory. I really should not have won, and several of these attacks were stupidly tough to dodge. I'd highly recommend waiting until you've combined several accessories, as you need a lot of movement to avoid these attacks that either have minimal or hard to see telegraphing that also take up most of the screen. I took the loot back, but then chat said I missed something. I have no idea what this is, but I could give it to the chalice for a hint. It wasn't much of one, but the item's description said it'll attract something underground, so that's where we're going, and I might as well mine a elevator while I'm at it. Oh, what the? Oh, hello. Gold digger. Finally found you, vermin? Uh-oh. Prepare to reap what you sow. Oh, no. Oh, he's got a lot of health, too. Okay, good. He looked kind of ghostly. I wasn't confident in my ability to deal damage. Oh, dear. Oh, no. Yes, that same attack. I hate that attack so much. Run! Run! Ah! I'm reaping what I sowed! I'm reaping what I sowed! Good sir, get out of my way, please. Oh, I just jumped into lava. Oh! That was way too close. Come on! Come on! That was way too close. I can't hardly believe I was able to actually beat that thing. Kind of brutal having him randomly spawn underground. I guess you could make an arena and then wait, but I wasn't sure if that would work. As is, he's dead, and I got his sickle as a reward. There was also this teddy bear, and the chalice said it would bring peace to the misfortuned. I kept mining the elevator for no reason other than I was just there, and along the way, there was this funky looking stone. Mining it, I am given stone. I thought it might be a modded mini biome, but there was nothing in the area. I have no idea what's going on with this. It's a different texture. Am I crazy? This is a different texture, right? But it's just regular stone. Now, item descriptions are much more useful than the chalice, and the teddy bear says it'll bring peace to the keeper, whatever that's supposed to mean. So, am I supposed to give the teddy bear to the keeper? Okay, we got 7:30. Look, I got a teddy bear. Oh. Oh. Okay, okay. Whew. Thank you. Boom. This made my good guy alignment a 3. Whatever that means. She dropped a crown, though, that makes humanoid skeletons friendly, so I guess that could be helpful. I killed the brain, but who cares? That's vanilla. Once the brain died, though, there was something at the NPC housing. Who are you? What? Who? Hello? Oh, holy. Okay, the size of lost souls depends on the original individual power. The stronger the will of being, the bigger the soul. Once the soul leaves the body, they cannot infuse with it again. When the soul has been found worthy vessel infused with it, on most occasions, a skeleton will be created. However, if the soul is strong enough, it will form a pale brown flesh on the skeleton, creating a fallen. I have no idea why he spawned, but I don't think the brain had anything to do with it. He does something with repairing fragments, but I have no idea what fragments are. He also has a shop with a neat magic weapon. And this. Ooh. I likey. Hold on to that. He sold a violin, which I thought would be fun. Why is he playing it like that? He's like, okay, I think I see where it's going. I don't know what they think a violin sounds like, but that's not it. Am I playing this wrong? This is Terraria. Now that I was spending time with one NPC, I figured I'd check out what the other guys were up to. And this one had this thing called the Eagle Crest Spellbook that summons the Eagle Crest Golem. The description also says it's only sold after the brain or eater have been slain. Let's use it and see what happens. Oh, oh, that's an enemy. Oh, boy. Oh, it's rolling. Oh, no. Run away. Okay, how do you avoid that if you're already... How do you avoid that? Might be that staying close to this guy is the way to go. Unless that happens. The bosses in this mod have been fascinating so far. There we go. And that was the Eagle Crest Golem. He dropped several weapons. One was a neat spear and another was a funny sling that says it's hard to aim in. Indeed it is. There was also a magic weapon that rolls on the ground, which was actually very interesting. The others were frankly a bit weak. A very small buff would make them more viable in my opinion, except for the mage weapon that is, which is a fascinating weapon just to use. The goblins spawned and that's probably one of the events it's most viable or useful for. Now we're getting on a roll. Thing is, the weapon does more damage based on either speed or heights, not sure which. It's like a mage tossable jousting lance is the best way I can describe it. It even gets an extra effect if you throw it optimally. Very strange weapon and satisfying to use. The next boss on the list is the Seed of Infection, which requires meteorites, and I have a question. Who wins, a meteor or a single quality of life mod? Okay, wait, I have Ore Excavator. Meteor meets Ore Excavator, just not a contest. So I made the summon and here comes the seed. Oh, it's just right there. Oh, it just spawns in. No. Oh no. That's not what I thought would happen. I need this I need the other accessories so I can actually get to the platform without needing to grapple. So we went on a journey to find the Goblin Tinkerer, but that ghost boss from earlier was chilling next to him. I tried getting the jump on him, but he wasn't taking damage, so I spoke to him and he wants a token from his creator, the Keeper. Huh. Wonder what that could be. No matter, I want a rematch against the Seed of Infection, but with far better accessories. The seed will summon little green masses in front of it, shoot waves of green projectiles, which is not to be confused with a fan of green diamonds that then explode into an even bigger fan of projectiles. He'll shoot into the sky and these things will rain down and does your typical dashing. There's a laser he shoots straight down, which is honestly one of the least intimidating lasers I've seen in any boss. He has a few other attacks, but they're all variants of him shooting the same type of projectiles. Killing him opens a portal and this guy pops out. What? Oh, whoa, huh? He says there's some resemblance between me and another guy. He also dropped this sick weapon. Hold up, let's backtrack. One thing I have missed entirely is the Foul Morning. It's a frost/pumpkin moon style event, but during the day. And it's also meant to be fought super early game, like around Eye of Cthulhu. I'm way past that, but it's an event where you fight a bunch of chickens. So, of course I gotta try it. Before the event starts, you must beat an easy boss who actually has mad damage resistance at a certain phase, but that's only because he also drops an item in this phase that you have to use to make him stop acting all panicked. Then you can do damage. Oh wait, actually, the Chicken King dude drops the summon for the event. It's not that you beat him to summon the event, so messed up the order there a little bit. But anyways, the event. You kill a bunch of chickens, and that's fun and all. What the heck? But this event does not have the right to have music that goes as hard as it does. Legitimately one of my favorite songs in any mod, and yes, it is currently playing in the background. This isn't me making the chicken event overly dramatic. This is the actual music that plays, and as you fight an army of chickens. The event drops a sentry that creates an aura that increases the player's jump height and movement speed, and I love how inventive they were making a sentry that buffs the player rather than attacking. This brings me to Skeletron. Easy fight. Gets hit by Star. Goodbye. I didn't see anything at first after killing him, but chat informed me I had missed that crystals had formed in the icy caverns. I did do a little dungeon exploration first to, grab the lovely little Muramas on Kobold shield. When I was done with that, there was some new portal that had appeared, so I gotta check it out. There's too many things for me to explore right now. I can never set my mind on any one and stick with it, but check it out. Super cool blue portal. Oh, hello. Oh, Lotes. Okay, you speak some language. Oh, are you going to attack me? Yes, you are. Oh, you got health. Hold up. Oh, please. Come on. Keep moving. Oh. Oh, did it just reset? Oh, dang it. So turns out I need to stick around the tiny little arena to fight this boss, or else it'll be considered having run away. I tried the battle again, but still couldn't for the life of me deal damage, and with this small dark space serving as an arena, I was not coming close to winning. So instead, I checked out the newly generated crystals in the Tundra. I thought it would be a whole new biome, but instead they're basically pre-hard mode crystal shards found in the Tundra, and better yet, they glow. I do love that very much. I always have found the Tundra hard to explore. Feels like the caves are less open and there's a lot more mining than in the other biomes, so these glowing crystals made it a whole lot easier to find things. Combining these crystals with iron makes a new bar called Pure Iron Alloy. This crafts a real cool armor set as well as some neat weapons, a very traditionally medieval aesthetic. I was hoping this new armor and weapon would magically do more damage against the boss Calavia, sure, but that wasn't really the case. Now the reason for my lack of damage is that apparently there is this whole armor system. When fighting the goblin army, sometimes when I attack the warriors, a little text would appear saying I've broken their armor. Same thing with the dungeon. I have no idea what caused this, but that same armor effect was coming into play with this boss. Only now I couldn't figure out how to break it. My chat was trying to help me, but the whole time I am trying to figure out if the mod explained this somehow. Mod of Redemption really is a whole different beast than other mods. You have to change your mindset when engaging with it, and as in many ways, it's a whole different kind of game. There's elemental advantages, so sometimes what would typically be the strongest weapon isn't anymore. You really do have to carefully read the description of items or else you might miss their use, and even then you might have to do some puzzle solving. You have to actually consider whether to finish off a boss or not. It's different. Anyways, no idea how this armor system works, whether it was ever explained or not, or what is effective against it, but I did make a crossbow from the Pure Iron Alloy that broke her shield, and at that point, she just auto-dodged most of my ranged attacks. Still could do more damage, but seeing a boss dodge my attacks was definitely a shock. I chose to spare her because I guess I'm going to be a good guy for this run, and she now becomes an NPC. After giving her some materials and then placing a forge next to her, she's able to upgrade 2 weapons. One I have, one I don't, and the one I have becomes this real neat ice magic tome. Defeating that boss was pretty much the final thing that this mod introduced in pre-hard mode, so after she went down, I finished the elevator, mined for some hellstone, made a hell bridge, and summoned the wall of fresh. For the battle, I used the pure iron sword, crossbow, and ice magic tome. Together, they were able to beat the wall of fresh quite handily. The ice tome in particular could do crazy amounts of damage, but timing it correctly can be a challenge. I am admittedly a little disappointed there is nothing new before the mech, so I gotta do most of the typical grinding and early hard mode prep before getting into most of the modded material, but there is still a few interesting additions. Using I call it the Pwan Hammer, alright? It's the Pwan Hammer to me. I broke the Crimson Altars, but before mining the ores, I spoke to this NPC called Adam. Sometimes the NPCs sell new items at different points in regression, so checking what they sell after beating bosses is usually a good idea, and Adam is selling several new items. Most of them are materials for weapons and accessories that require other materials I don't know how to get, but the important thing is the nuclear warhead up for purchase. When I got the thing, I figured I'd set it down and launch it somewhere, but that's not how it works. You set it down and then arm the thing, and I love how they added an independent UI to do this rather than just clicking the thing. It's pretty epic. This item can only be used in the outer thirds of the world, so after I traveled to the ocean to the far right, I set the thing down and pressed the big red button. Boom. Yeah, I'm not moving. I'm going to take this like a man. I did die. The ocean and surrounding area is now a nuclear wasteland with enemies suffering from radiation poisoning, except the zombies, that is. Hazmat? Why does a zombie have a hazmat? Nothing particularly interesting dropped from the enemies initially, and they were the only new thing I noticed. There's probably more to it, but I'll check it out later. For now, it'd be helpful to get set up with hard mode armor, and you never know what you might stumble upon when exploring. Don't get, we found a lab! We found one! There it is. I don't know why I was that excited, but there's a lab thingy, and I'm sure it'll be important later. I finished mining for Adamantite, came across Skulldigger, whom I gave the wedding ring, which made him quite happy, and crafted the Ranger armor set. just wish there were more modded weapons available right now. Wasn't sure which class to go for since I hadn't come across any modded weapons in early hard mode, but my Amazon delivery drone did arrive with a lovely vanity set in tow.
What?
What? I accept this gift, and I shall wear it proudly.
Okay.
Whenever I play Terraria, one of the first weapons I just about always farm for, no matter what, is the Onyx Blaster. Thing is, it's not even my favorite strategy anymore. It used to be, but not anymore. It wasn't until I farmed the Dark Shards I needed and started working on farming the Dark Souls that I remembered my favorite ranger strategy, using the dart pistol or rifle over the Onyx Blaster. The dart rifle and pistol are just so underrated, and now I will keep on using them until people realize just how good these are. So instead of farming for souls to get the Onyx Blaster, I got 15, which is enough to make a dart key to then summon a Crimson Mimic. Before moving to the rest of the mechs and a little more hard mode farming, I needed to touch upon one pre-hard mode feature I missed last time. Someone in chat notified me that if I use this item called the Dead Ringer on a skeleton near the blue portal, that something special would happen, and indeed, something special did happen. I was given the ability to Spirit Walk, which, after mapping it to a key, gave me the ability to walk into the spirit world like the Avatar or something. The Skull Digger from earlier happened to be here, and giving him a Crux card, an item I also found earlier in the game, gave me a summon of sorts. Rather than counting as a summon proper, this card summons the Skull Digger using a material collected by killing ghosts in the spirit world. He doesn't take up a minion slot and actually has a set amount of health and thus can be killed by enemies. He's a useful summon, and apparently there's more skeletons around, and if I use the Dead Ringer on them, I can get more Crux cards and get different kinds of ghostly summons like this one. It's also possible that I would never have gotten Skull Digger if I hadn't been nice to him. Anyways, that's pre-hard mode content, so it's not going to help me a lot anyways. I farmed 2 Crimson Mimics, which was all I needed to get the Dart Pistol, killed a few Wyverns for Souls of Flight, and then tried to farm Ice Golems for a Frost Feather, but literally no Tundra enemies respawning, which made absolutely no sense to me, and the farming session was cut short as the twins spawned all on their own. I figured I might as well try to kill them, but I was totally lacking in mobility and potions, and that combined with them being the hardest mech boss for me personally, I was going nowhere fast. So I guess I gotta get some wings, and the easiest way I could think of doing that was farming for Souls of Light in the Underground Hollow. I also needed some of the souls for a mech spawner anyways, so twice the farming, twice the fun. Oh wait, I actually needed crystal shards as well for crystal darts, so thrice the farming, even better. After gathering enough souls, I still needed 2 more feathers, so I really quickly grabbed them to craft angel wings. While it was still day, I figured it made sense to find the shimmer really quick, because I haven't already. The Fargo's Mutants mod allows me to purchase boss summons, and if I beat Skeletron, then I could buy mechanical skulls and shimmer them for easy souls instead of farming for more. At least that was the idea I had. Each summon costs nearly 50 gold though, so it's not really cost effective, but whatever. Finding the shimmer is good anyways. It's just a little funky because the nuclear wasteland reaches down here, so the beautiful Aether biome has been transformed into this irradiated mess. When the night rolled around, I took down Skeletron, and gosh darn it, the night nearly ended and I'm scratching my head. Why did it take so long? Whatever the case, I discovered the mod added this cool hammer that makes me fall fast as if I were on the slimy saddle, and it does more damage depending on the speed I'm falling at. And I gotta assume that there's a max, I guess speed that you can fall. It's sort of like a jousting lance in that way. I crafted a flamethrower and then lost to the destroyer. I feel a bit underpowered, and sure enough, I am. I'm a ranger using the melee emblem rather than the ranger one. Well, that's kind of silly. So I threw it into the shimmer and also used it to uncraft the lightning boots until I got a better modifier. There was also a bunch of radioactive enemies down here, and apparently they have special drops. I'm not sure what they can be used for, but I'm sure the stuff is helpful. But all that shimmer stuff definitely made a big difference because the next night I took down the destroyer and twins. I was putting things away after the fight and came across a craftable accessory called the Infected Thorn Shield, which is an upgrade to the Shield of Cthulhu. There aren't a whole lot of mods I played that made this thing an upgradable accessory, so this is really cool. It's an accessory so many people use from the Eye of Cthulhu all the way through most of hard mode, so having an actual upgrade to it is really nice. At this point, I thought that the lab thing near the surface could be explored, but it could not. However, I did come across that one lab during pre-hard mode in the Underground Crimson, so I double-checked there. Turns out the Pixaw is able to mine through some of the green gunk near the entrance, and from there, I have to play the imposter and jump through some vents. At the other end, this robot guy hands me a key card that opens up some doors in the lab. It would turn out, as chat told me, that this NPC is actually a mini-boss. Thing is though, the vanity set I'm wearing, turns out wearing it makes the NPC friendly, and so he just hands me the key card and walks away. And that's kinda sick. The vanity isn't just vanity, but now I'm disguised as a robot, and so the robot guy likes me. Inside the lab, there's a treasure chest, but they look more like lockers to me. They all have weapons or accessories or other useful things. One is a summon weapon that creates a damaging aura. Another has a Shield of Cthulhu alternative, but this one can reflect projectiles so long as they don't deal more than 200 damage, which has me curious. If I have enough damage resistance and high enough defense, could I reflect Moonlord's laser? That'd be pretty epic if I could. Even if I don't go for that build though, it's still a useful item. There's a gravity hammer like the ones from Halo. Oh, sick. Yeah, goodbye Night's Edge. There are still some blocks and walls that are locked still, and so I'm funneled into only certain places, and it's kind of tough trying to navigate the place. It ends up leading me to this one corridor where a new mini-boss spawns. Oh, I do not like being in the small enclosed area. Don't like how little room there is. I don't like how the walls or the room here is becoming less and less. Not a fan of this. Come on, perish, perish. Okay, we got this. There we go, very nice. Beat him first try, pretty simple boss really, but it's stressful having the wall slowly falling down on my head, but the flamethrower toasted him pretty quick. I wasn't able to find anywhere else to go, so I left the lab and immediately wanted to use a mini warhead found in the lab. It was a consumable, so for some reason I thought I'd eat the thing and something would happen, but eating isn't the only thing meant by consumable. Whoops. Oh, it's so close to taking them out. Now I needed to farm some of the stuff in the wastelands to craft an energy source for a weapon from the lab, but I ended up finding another ranger weapon instead. This thing is actually incredibly strong, but that's not the only thing I took from the radioactive biome. Did I radiate my home? Whoopsie. Whoopsie. Can I purify it? Oh, oh no. Oh no. I found that medication in the lab as well, and good thing too, it cured me. Oh, and the percentage thing charging next to me is actually energy for the ranger weapon I found. That weapon is neat, but when the one dropped from the mobs does this, there's no contest. This brings me to the next modded boss, the King Slayer 3, which, well, what actually happened to King Slayers 1 and 2? Anyways, which I had to summon 3 times before a fight actually broke out. Wait, maybe that's why it's called King Slayer 3. Oh, he just whips out a gun. I don't like that attack. Oh, wait, he's doing a boxing stance right now. Hold up. Oh, okay, that time it did damage. Last time it didn't actually do damage, and I was very confused. Oh my goodness! It just whacks you across the world! Stay away from me! Stay away! I love doing the big beam. There we go, there we go. Oh, what? What do you mean it? We'll call it a draw then? Okay. Open inventory to make You know, I've been a good guy, so we'll call a draw. Don't distract me again. Okay. Adios. Dingus! Excuse. Alright, get. This is only the second boss, to the best of my recollection, where I've been given a direct choice as to whether to kill a boss or show mercy. As I've been playing the good guy up to this point, I figured I'd keep being a good guy. The boss still dropped a treasure bag, which was wonderful, was worried he wouldn't, and an accessory he drops blocks damage to a certain point, but the attack that breaks the shield does double damage. A bit of a double-edged sword, but it has me curious, so I'm using it. At this point, I moved on to the spaceship and mined into it at last. The boss was now chilling on the inside, and the boss bag had dropped a key that allows me to access all the chests here. There's a weapon for all the classes, but since I'm running Ranger, we'll focus on the dual pistols, as well as a piece of furniture or whatever that passively grows life fruit, making it perhaps one of the most useful pieces of furniture I have ever found. The guy in the ship has nothing interesting, but he does say he wants uranium, which I can't get at the moment as far as I'm aware, so I suppose I'll return to him. I mined all the chlorophyte I'll need, but I don't know if I'll be using it since the boss also dropped some stuff that let me create hard light armor. Perhaps it's below chlorophyte on tier, but it does have a special ability to fire a bunch of rockets at a target, which is just too fun to pass up. Only problem is that I forgot to use the ability, like, ever. Life fruit is also something you need at this point, so I slept for a bit, which helps life fruit and Plantera bulbs to spawn more. I guess it works better than just going to the jungle and looking. There still wasn't a whole lot of them though, and I used boom shurikens from Fargo's Mutants mod to clear out a massive area for the Plantera arena. I collected a number of things and went straight to fighting the big plant. Tech revolvers worked wonders against her in the first form, and then the flamethrower, which is already pretty effective against Plantera, but in Mod Redemption, the typing advantage of fire over plants made the thing even better against the boss, so she was really easy. Golem was a bit of a different story. The revolver still worked pretty well, and I had a shield that is supposed to deflect projectiles. I thought this might make me nearly invulnerable, but this boss created a problem with the small confines of the arena. Whenever I would deflect one of the projectiles, I would bounce backwards, and then I would be vulnerable to the several shots that were after that. So to dodge one, I would take multiple hits. The arena itself wasn't the best either, but whatever. I lost a golem, and the second fight I totally won. Just ignore the death screen, okay? The golem died, and that's all that matters. This brings us immediately to the Omega prototype, who is actually supposed to be fought pre-golem, but after Plantera, which has always been a weird place in progression to me. My instinct is always to go straight from the plant to the sentient hardened clay, so whenever a mod places a boss between them, I always end up fighting them after golem anyways. But here we are at the Omega prototype. Oh my. Uh-oh. Get the gun! Oh no. Oh, what is that? Bright side, they're not seemingly that great at hitting you once. Oh, that didn't. Never mind. Wait, what? Oh, I'm out of bullets? You're kidding! Oh, that's... The fact that this boss will, at times, have the amount of your wing time is absolutely insane, and that alone made this boss leagues harder than I thought it would be. I fought the boss 2 more times and lost, and I'm wondering if I might need to do some more farming for better equipment, but the sword was so close to being destroyed in that last fight, so I figured I'd find out what happens once it breaks. So, the 4th battle was the one when I took down the sword, and, well, need to die a lot faster here. Okay. Pretty low. There we go. Got the sword. Nah. Wait, what? That was it? Turns out the sword is the only thing I need to defeat. But there is a little guy, and he's got a separate health bar, and I can't help but wonder, what would happen if I took him down instead of the sword? Might really change things considering how this mod works, but I suspect that'd follow the evil path, and I'm trying to be a good guy. I made a neat gun from what the boss dropped, and the funny thing is, the next boss is the same boss, but different. The moons in Martian Invasion are listed as being between the 2 boss variants, but if you ignore those, then you can go straight to the second boss, which I figured I'd do for the heck of it. Oh no, I'm liking this. This is pretty cool. There's a worm boss I can get behind. Oh, that's an epic explosion right there. All right, now the question is whether, so you destroy the shield core, then we can continue to make it vulnerable, which is what we really want. It'll get progressively, oh, what the heck? Oh! It steals the screen. Why? Oh. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Blow up. There we go. Okay. And oh, it's that one. Oh, did we first try it? Oh, let's go! How that battle was much easier is beyond me, but that is genuinely my favorite worm boss fight. The only potential rival is Polarity Mod's Convective Weaver, but if I remember right, that mod is no longer under production, which is sad, so I guess this one's my favorite now. Anyways, turns out I'm slowly suffering the effects of radiation poisoning once again, and I have no idea what to do about it. I already consumed the pills that heal this poisoning, and I have no idea why I'm being poisoned in the first place, so I spent a couple minutes scratching my head, wishing I could just die and be done with the poisoning because it's taking forever to take full effect. But I did talk to the NPCs, and Adam, the guy with the green hair, happened to be selling the pills I needed to recover, which is fantastic. I'll take it. Killing the boss allows me to craft something like 4 new ranger weapons, and 1 is an upgrade of the weapon I loved that dropped from the radiated enemies. This makes the gun into a rocket launcher, and when it's spinning, the rockets home in on a target. So I just have to hold left click and gun will do the rest of the work for me. It made Lunatic Cultist nice and easy, and all the pillars except for Vortex were also pretty easy. I think with this specific weapon, Vortex is actually not the best. I tried fighting Moonlord with the thing, and I think I did pretty well. I just need to do a better job at this whole dodging thing and should maybe get some knockback immunity. Now, this is the point when my YouTube channel was hacked, and I recorded the rest of this in the middle of wondering whether the channel would ever return, and I was recording just to try and get back to some sort of normalcy and get my mind off things, but was also having a hard time about doing that. So we're just going to focus on showcasing the final bosses of this mod. Once Moonlord is beaten, the robot guy talks about there being another machine, and a drone flies over and gives me this keycard looking thing that I recognize from the underground lab. I was now able to mine the green ore, which turns out to be uranium, which I should have given to the robot dude in his spaceship, but totally forgot he existed. It's also kind of crazy that I just carry this around in my pocket now, and one of the newly accessible treasure chests is a neat light pet. There was also a photo that's got something to do with lore, and another chest with a chainsaw that has 3 different forms. One spins around, one shoots, and another is just a regular chainsaw. Kinda cool, except for the regular chainsaw form. I was stuck for a while though, because I couldn't jump into the green liquid without dying quickly, but then I mined this little dude on the floor and got a hazmat suit, and that let me just jump right on in. But that didn't mean everything was safe. So, guess I have to do some platforming, and at the end of it, there's a mini boss I beat by grappling to the ceiling and shooting. Kinda cool how it's a fish that falls below platforms that I can't break. Also kind of funny that I can just grapple to the ceiling. Almost immediately after that was a second boss with really pretty lasers. Overall, he and the previous boss were both pretty simple, but also some good fun, and them having designated arenas made things quite interesting, because unlike most Terraria bosses, except for Golem, where you can just kind of do your own thing, you needed to use the arena in the way that it was designed to win. I ran into a problem after this, not being able to open up the lab doors. Wasn't really able to figure that out, so I went back to the surface to fight the third robot prototype dude. Hello? Oh. Ah! Oh no. Oh. What am I looking at? Who's that looking at? Now at this point, I must say, it was often hard to tell what the bosses were doing, because I often used the Celebration MK2, and there were so many particles, it was hard to tell what was going on. This robot would do its basic charges that also shot arrow things up and down. It shot red electric orbs that hung around, and rockets where a bunch of targets would be indicated, and then everything kind of just went kaboom. He has a fast shooting eye laser and a big eye laser, and every time he uses it, there's a text box above his head saying eye laser, which is kind of goofy. There are several variants of the eye beam. One is just straight and normal, another is wavy, another is 2 beams going up and down, but overall they're largely the same. Not actually a very complex boss, although I'm not entirely sure how the rocket attacks work. I can't tell if there's splash damage to them, or if you only get hit when you're inside the red squares that show up. Beating him for the first time is also not enough because now he's overheating. Oh, why is it? Oh, why is it health back? Why is its health back? No. Oh no. 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 Oh, I wasn't doing any damage. It was just. Oh. The robot guy mentions another boss that has me afraid, but I think it's not in the beta. Either that or it's not going to be a boss. Let's move straight to the next boss, and by that I mean I am still skipping the one in the lab because I couldn't get through the doors. It's kind of cool because in order to make the boss summon, you have to place the Eagle Crest Golem eye into blocks in a certain formation. If I did have a critique, it's that I had no idea what stones of origin were and kind of just guessed. Maybe it's mentioned somewhere, but I just happened to guess the right block because you do have to place the right block. Regular stone won't work. I'm pretty sure it's only this one. When I summoned this post-Moonlord boss, it was very similar to the first pre-Hardmode boss, and I was a little disappointed, but just wait. Oh, wow. Oh, what's it doing? What is it doing? Oh, it's... Oh, that's sick. Oh, it's Thor. It's just Thor. Oh, oh my goodness. Oh. Oh, hello. Oh. What is that? What am I looking for? No. Oh, that's what that's doing. I can't shoot. Oh. Oh. That may very well be one of my new favorite Terraria bosses, but he's after the two lab bosses I've missed. And I figured out that I had been given the key cards, or whatever they're called, that opened the doors I wasn't able to get past. I thought I had used them earlier. I thought I had tried to do that and they didn't do anything, so I didn't try again, but they were right there in my inventory. This brings me to the Mace Project. He's a big robot head hanging on a track on the ceiling. He'll shoot fireballs in a couple ways, electric grenades, green bullets. Once the first health bar is gone, he shoots a massive sunbeam if you don't do damage fast enough or something. He shot it the first time, but not the second time. I'm not exactly sure how it works. In second phase, he does several different things. It's honestly hard for me to tell because the explosives are masking my view of everything. Kind of all right, but not a lot of space to react to many of the moves. And this brings us to the final boss of the lab, Patient Zero. And if I'm going to be honest, I really hate this boss, and maybe it's just skill issue, okay? Maybe it's just my fault, but I could not beat this thing, even if my life depended on it. I even used weapons from other bosses who are later in progression, and still could not beat the thing. I genuinely don't know what to do. There are some attacks of his that are fine, but two of them would kill me in seconds. One of them is where he shoots big lasers that rotate around the central eye, and this alone wouldn't be that bad, but there's also other projectiles that find your position and shoot there. And these were so hard to see, and in part because there were these telegraphed lines and the projectile itself looked quite similar. And even when I could see them, I still died. They were really hard to dodge. The other attack was a laser shot from the lower section of the boss, since it's kind of split into two, the eye and what I guess is Patient Zero. He'll transfer to this form at one point and immediately shoot beams at me untelegraphed, so I'd have to notice the change and start moving right away, and I often didn't. There were also green balls of death that split into several more projectiles that were often very hard to dodge. I was able to figure it out as I went along, but it took a very long time to get used to it. Basically, this boss for me either had attacks that were nearly impossible to dodge or ones that were super easy to dodge, and there was no in between. And the ones that were really hard to dodge would kill me in seconds, and if I didn't die, then I would take enough damage that there was no hope for recovering. I really didn't know what to do. So let's get back to my favorite boss, who I'm going to just call Thor, which also might be why I like it, because I just love Thor. At first, you just fight Thor, but at some point, he summons a friend who doesn't do much in the way of damage, but mostly hits you with debuffs. I could be wrong though, as several of the attacks were not shot straight from the body and could have come from either of them. There's lightning all over the place in this boss battle, and there's a part where the green guy will put land masses over your head so you can't shoot the lightning dude because he's above the land mass, and there's even a chance they'll throw a sky island on your face. Mostly there's lightning everywhere. That's basically what you need to know. Took several tries, and I'm not a fan of how one of the attacks in particular stuns you so you just can't move. Hate attacks that do that, but whatever. I love Thor, so this made me happy. And now finally, on to the final boss. In order to summon it, you have to kill Patient Zero, which sucked for me, but killing him makes it so these purple wyverns can spawn. They look awesome, but are basically just wyvern variants, which is fine, but their spawn conditions felt very similar, and I hate wyvern spawning conditions. It's so inconsistent. You can either be in space for 10 minutes and not get one, or you can be there for 10 seconds and get 10. I hate it. To craft the boss summon, I need 20 galaxy stars too, and those drop from these purple wyverns, and that requires you to kill at least 3 of them probably. But the summon awakens the final boss, Nebulius? Something like that. The first battle didn't go great because this thing moves fast, and so you want to move fast as well, and I didn't have a soaring insignia from Empress. In the battle after that, I got one, and the starboards, infinite flight, and exceptional speed actually made this battle quite easy. I love this one attack where it summons chains like an octopus and it grabs you and tosses you. It's pretty neat, but everything else is just shooting stars in one way or another. He was kind of underwhelming after Patient Zero proved impossible and Thor took several attempts. Maybe he won't be the final boss, and once beaten, he says something that makes me think he might return, but yeah, that's the mod of Redemption in hard mode. It's still in beta, but with everything I've seen in pre-hard mode, and now hard mode and post Moonlord, this mod has great promise, and I can't wait to see what they do with it in the future.